I 9 out of 10 people believe that what Azeez Al-Shaair did was dirty. Apparently, unless you work for the Houston Texans. Now, you might say, okay, Marty.
Hey, Marty.
That's their guy. Okay, and I don't disagree with you. But did you need to go this far?
Look, it is what it is. I think the big thing from our standpoint, and all teams want this, is just some level of consistency. And we've talked to the league, quite frankly, but we don't have a good explanation. DeMeco talked to them yesterday. So, I mean, it is what it is. I'm sure Azeez will go through whatever process he's going to go through, and then we'll deal with it accordingly. But I think what we take umbrage is just the picture that's been painted about Azeez, his intentions, who he is as a person. I mean, quite frankly, it's bullshit. And it's unfair to the individual. It's unfair to the organization. I mean, we love everything about Azeez Al-Shaair, what he means to this team, what he brings to this team. He was elected a captain after being here for 4 months. So, again, like, we have a lot of respect for our opponents. We have a lot of respect for other teams in this league. We want to do things the right way. I think DeMeco's explanation about the situation from a defensive perspective yesterday, well, quite frankly, was spot on.
Okay, first of all, that's Nick Caserio, who's saying that they don't understand why Azeez Al-Shaair was suspended. Well, he has a history of violence. As John Runyon, do we still have the tweet? As John Runyon said yesterday, not only did you make a highly illegal hit, but then you proceeded to take your helmet off.
Yeah.
And get into it with the other team, starting another fight, and then you got into it with fans. You have a history of violence on the field, multiple hits, late hits out of bounds, multiple illegal hits. What do you mean you don't understand it? And then DeMeco Ryans, that was Nick Caserio, the general manager of the Texans. Then DeMeco Ryans blamed Trevor Lawrence.
A lot of the quarterbacks in this day and age, they try to take advantage of the rule where they slide late and they try to get an extra yard. You don't know what a guy's thinking. You don't know if a guy's standing up and he's continuing to run. You don't know. And then you get a late slide and you hit the guy. Unfortunate that Trevor got hurt. We hope Trevor is okay, but it's also, if we're sliding, we have to get down. If we're getting out of bounds, we get out of bounds. And that rule is there to protect the quarterbacks. And we want our quarterbacks to be safe in the league. So we just have to be safe. And we're sliding, make sure we're keeping our heads down. So
the only problem is Trevor Lawrence didn't slide late. The only problem is Trevor Lawrence didn't give the weak leg, stanky leg fake that you're seeing Patrick Mahomes on a regular basis do. Trevor Lawrence slid 6 yards before Azeez Al-Shaair began his hit. There was plenty of time for Al-Shaair to pull up. He chose not to. Delivered a forearm to the head and neck area with violence.
Yeah.
Now, do I disagree with DeMeco? I actually don't on quarterbacks in general. Along the side, somebody needs to knock the living crap out of Patrick Mahomes on the sideline.
Mm-hmm.
He routinely fakes like he's going to step out of bounds and then picks up 5-6 more yards. If I had Patrick Mahomes in bounds within a step of the sideline, I would light him up. If he's sliding, you can't light him up. If he fakes and then slides, light him up. But Trevor Lawrence didn't do any of that. Trevor Lawrence slid long before Al-Shaair started the hit. And John Runyon at the NFL in the league office as much said, you had plenty of time to pull up. And you chose not to. You made a decision to hit the quarterback with your forearm in the head and neck area. I don't know what the Texans are doing here. I don't know why they want to do that, but if I am the starting quarterback of the Houston Texans and I'm a second-year guy, I'm a little worried about this.
Yeah, I think the thing out of the Caserio clip is they're not so you notice that they're not saying, hey, he shouldn't be suspended. What their issue is they're saying that the NFL is making it personal with Azeez, that the NFL is essentially questioning Azeez's character as a man and as a player. And I have to say, they are doing that, and I don't have a problem with it. This guy's earned that. This guy and again, we can't play because it's NFL films, NFL, product or whatever. But his highlight reel of hitting dudes that are 2 steps out of bounds, like the play is over and you hit him, it's long. There's multiple highlights. This is not his first time. And so when Nick Caserio wants to bring up, well, we made him a captain 3 weeks into his tenure as a Texan. Why does that matter, dude? That's not like some badge of honor. You're saying that Azeez Al-Shaair is some great guy. And I'm not saying off the field he's a horrible human being. I'm not saying that at all. What I am saying is that whether it was his apology, his highlight reel of dirty hits, this hit on Trevor Lawrence, you don't get to just do all of this and then think the league is not going to take action and not going to make an example out of you. And then the cherry on top is you're appealing the suspension. Like, you're going to appeal this 3-game suspension. You're going to drag this thing out rather than just taking it on the chin and moving on. That's what I don't understand. I don't understand why you're appealing. I don't get that at all.
UW fan Jim says it was a really late slide, in my opinion. Yeah, unfortunately, the evidence doesn't back that up. Because this is the photo that's going around. Notice Trevor Lawrence's right knee. Where's Azeez Al-Shaair in this picture? Still not starting to hit Trevor Lawrence. And the video is very clear on this. Azeez Al-Shaair does not begin moving his weight forward, which is what John Runyon at the NFL was noting. He doesn't start moving his weight into Trevor Lawrence until Trevor Lawrence's backside is fully on the ground. It was not a late slide. You can see this is where the knee is down. He started this slide 2 yards earlier is when his body lowers. Go watch the video, dudes. Like, it's out there. This is not a late slide. And I'll go back to what Rex Ryan said. I agree. Dive at Al-Shaair's feet with your head. Then he can't hit you.
Yeah. And by the way, I also agreed with the take that was going around yesterday about the Tua Damar Hamlin incident, where Tua, it wasn't a sliding situation because Tua chose to take on the defender. And in that clip, Damar Hamlin just sort of he doesn't get out of the way, but Damar, you could clearly see, was not trying to hit Tua hard. He was essentially just trying to catch him, if you guys remember. And you start to think about these different plays with the quarterbacks. And I have to say, if you're a defender and a quarterback is running at you, and specifically with the Trevor Lawrence play, I want you guys to think about where on the field this was in the situation. You're on the left side of the field as far as the Jags offense is concerned. You're between the number and the sideline, and your defense has him corralled, if you will. It's not like this was, middle of the field, tons of different angles, defender comes from the side, whatever. This is a very straight on thing. Trevor Lawrence is to Al-Shaair's right. And then he takes the angle, and you can clearly see when he gives it up. I don't understand why people are making this about Trevor when it's clearly about Azeez.
And look at this picture right here. This is the first frame where Trevor Lawrence lowered his body to slide. He is beginning his slide at the 47-yard line. What do you not see in this picture? You don't see Azeez Al-Shaair, because go back to the previous picture. So let me get this right. You started your slide at the 47. Contact, friends, was made at the 44. So fully 3 more yards took place before Trevor Lawrence's knee is down at the 44. So he started his slide 3 yards before his knee went down. This is the very evidence, the very textbook definition of not a late slide. There is no way this is a late slide. This
wasn't like a panic slide.
I mean, it is remarkable to me. It's crazy. Yeah. Mike Smith, the NFL already has taken damage about football players with head trauma after years of not doing anything. So they don't like that type of thing making them look bad. Totally agree.
Yeah.
Totally agree.
And notice when it's textbook, right? Because we've had big hits in the NFL this year.
A
But
lot.
when it's textbook, when it's shoulder pad to chest plate, the NFL says nothing, even if the guy's got to go to the hospital.
Jeremy Bolton, can you imagine if someone did that to Patrick Mahomes? Chris Collinsworth would instantly burst into flames.
It's true.
Mike Smith, is he Romanowski 2.0? Funny thing is, what did Bill Romanowski say about the hit? I love the hit, but it's dirty as hell. Even Bill Romanowski has said it's a dirty hit. Like
You chose to go after him, dude.
I'm amazed that they came out this forcefully. Giggity, I understand DeMeco's take about quarterbacks taking extra yards, but Trevor didn't do that. No, he didn't. No, he did not. Totally agree. UW fan Jim, I watched it and it was a dirty hit and a late slide. I just disagree.
Yeah, I just disagree, dude.
Yeah.
And by the way, it can't be a late slide and a dirty hit. That doesn't work that way.
Yeah. It's not a late slide, maybe a long slide, but it's a bad hit and he needed a suspension. I agree. Why is my new Chiefs jersey got zebra stripes? Yeah, interesting. Redesign of the uniform.
Yeah, man.
I loved all the gifts over the weekend. So this official fell on his butthole and had to leave the game due to an injury.
Hugh Janus.
And everybody was like, oh, the Chiefs' best players out for the year. Exactly right. Okay, can we talk about, before we get out of here today, can we talk